Okay, everybody, episode 7 of the Beard Breakdown is now live with at RaceWithChase. You can follow him on Twitter. Is all I know of your social medias. If you want to plug at the beginning, I always let everybody plug at the end. So maybe either way. But welcome, Chase.
All the stuff, the Twitter, the Instagram, and YouTube. I don't do anything right here on Twitch. I'm kind of keeping everything on YouTube just because of the segment that I kind of make content in. But yeah, definitely any of the other socials, Instagram and Twitter, just at RaceWithChase, just like it's above my name here on the stream.
Awesome. So what did you wanted to talk a little bit about Twitch stuff, a little bit about YouTube stuff today? What did you bring for us? What's the hot take you got for me?
So I wanted to talk about how to make your stream and your content better, and just maybe not better, but definitely different. Just with like cool gear that's coming out, different ways to make scenes, different ways to do transitions, like these lights that are behind me that are always changing and stuff, just doing more like dynamic scenes. So you're not just that guy on Twitch with his webcam over some gameplay sitting there silently one view. You know, like how to get better at this and how to improve, and things that people might not think of. I'm not saying, I mean, I have 500 subs on YouTube and I don't do anything on Twitch, so it's not like I'm a god at this or anything. But just like some stuff that's floating around in my head that other people might be able to use or adapt and make their stuff better as well. So I think if everybody gets better, you know, it's not a pie. Like, there's enough to go around for everybody. So it's not like you're taking a slice.
Right.
If everybody grows, that's better for everybody else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So like, that's the cool thing about Twitch is like some people look at it as like, or YouTube, any of that really. Some people look at it as like a competition when it's more like choose your coworkers. That's what's great about it. It's like, you know, the shitty guy at work that you hate that doesn't do anything. Guess what? You can fire him right now. You don't have to ever talk to him again, and I can work with you just like this. And that's what's cool. You know, like, that's some of my favorite YouTubers. I started watching like fishing and outdoor videos, and a couple of these guys, if any of you out there have heard of Guggen, the Guggen Squad, those guys were just all their own channels. They teamed up, they made like a brand, and now they have like a huge warehouse. They have a squad house that they make content out of. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Just
like, possibilities are endless. And like you said, it's not really like, hey, I need to get my section. It can be like, how can we work together to push forward?
Yeah, that was actually like one thing that I wanted to bring up, is like how big collaborations are for growing your stuff. Like, obviously, and not if you're playing with the same people all the time, but definitely for something like what you do, where you're playing different games and a little bit of variety and stuff. If you're able to work with somebody who's a similar size or even a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger, whatever, you know, whoever's willing to play with you, then obviously, like, I don't know how many people you normally get. Your 20 to 30 people that watch your videos are different than the 20 to 30 people that watch their content. And maybe 10 of them, 15 of them, you know, now watch both. So now you're both streaming for 40 people, you know? It's so yeah, it kind of goes back to that. We're not taking away from each other. We're helping everybody grow. So.
And that's the thing that, as like starting off, when you're first starting doing this, there's a bug flying around here and I can't get it, and it's pissing me off. Oh, I think I got him. But that's the thing when I was first starting off, you know, it was like, it's a mindset that it takes a while to get to, where you're thinking, damn, how did Chase get 500 subs on YouTube and I only have 100? Instead of thinking, how, like, why isn't that happening to me? Start thinking, how can I get there? So it's not like, why can't I do it? Why is he doing it and I'm not? It's, how can I get there? that's good for Chase. That's great. Maybe I can ask him what he's done and what's worked instead of like the negative, like, hey, this isn't working. Like, why is he doing so good and I'm doing so poorly?
Exactly. That was a good point that you made about like reaching out and asking.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I'm starting. So obviously I'm in a sim rig right now. You can see the steering wheel and everything. So I'm kind of rebranding my channel right now. Before I was doing a lot of automotive stuff, working on cars, and now I'm playing computer cars instead. So it's a little bit different, but still automotive and everything like that. And basically, what I did to get inspired, I guess, to figure out how I wanted to do this thing was watch people that were doing the same thing that I wanted to be doing. And there's some people with like some cool overlays and stuff that I've never seen before because it's just new content to me. And they were all really cool. I reached out and like asked how they did certain effects or how they had certain overlays. Like for me specifically, it was like track maps and stuff overlaid on the screen. That was really cool. So it was like interactive, so it shows the track map and where you are and stuff for the viewers and everything like that, so they can kind of keep up with the races easier, and things like that, and different metrics and things. And everybody was really cool about sharing how they did it so that you can integrate it instead of being like, this is my cool idea, you're not gonna take it, So
Yeah.
definitely reaching out on how to do things or what's working, what's not working. That's a great idea. I mean, some people are going to be douchey and whatever, but those are the people that you don't work with. So
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. Everybody's got, think of the shittiest employee at your job. That's the streamer or content creator or person you don't like on Twitter or Twitch. Like that's it.
Yep.
That's a percent of the workforce, and that's just how life is. You have to get past those people that you're not compatible with, and instead of, like I said, that mindset of like, oh, this person's such a drag, it's just like, hey, I don't need to work with this person, and there you move forward.
On to the next one. There's 100 people doing what you want to be doing, and 75 of them are cool. So
Right. Yeah. So you wanted to talk about equipment. Like what like equipment specific, like what starting off or
So yeah, I mean a little bit of everything, right? So the basics that I think you need when you're getting into either doing YouTube videos. I am doing that thing that you said you were doing where you're not looking into the camera and you're looking at different monitors. I can't help myself. But when you're getting into YouTube, obviously you need a webcam and a decent microphone. I think those are kind of the two universal things. And you can do that fairly cheap, right? I mean, you can
right.
get a C920 for $50 and a decent mic. You don't not even $100. I mean, you can get a pretty good condenser mic and some sort of audio interface or like a USB mic for about $100, and then you're pretty much good to go. And then, but kind of the stuff I was getting into was things like Stream Deck. Do you have a Stream Deck?
I do.
Do you like it?
I do. I use it. I use I have a full soundboard on this. That's pretty cool because like you can folder in. So like, I have it where you can like folder down into a whole soundboard that's got what's on the 16. You 16 sounds, and then you can folder in again, and it's got another 16 pages. So it's like infinite amount of actions you can put on there. But
Yeah.
I use it to switch scenes. I have the stream starting button on there, mute and unmute. The message I threw up on there, it's 1 click or 2 clicks. So it's pretty useful. I mean, it's useful. And they have one for your phone or like a small one, like it's useful.
Yeah. So I was like, that to me is a really cool interface, Stream Deck. But it's like $150. If you're a stream that's not getting a lot of views, you might not want to do that. But there's also like a couple of apps that basically do the same thing that I came across. One's called Touch Portal, and the other one, if you use Streamlabs OBS, is just called Streamlabs Remote. That kind of give you the same thing. It gives you like 10 buttons, and you can set up your scene switches and everything like that. And those are free, which is really cool. But that's like a super useful tool that you might not think of when you're first starting out. And you might not want to buy because it's kind of expensive. And you're like, how much do I invest in something that's not netting me any return, or you don't stream a lot, you know? And so it's kind of hard to justify, but those free ones are cool. And then the Go XLR and Go XLR Mini that are coming out, those are like audio interfaces.
Yeah.
Have you seen those at all?
Yep. The two guys in the chat, Dunk and Slightly Salty, both have Go XLRs, and they look pretty sweet.
I'm super jealous of both of those guys in chat that have them. I'm gonna wait for the Mini to come out. I think it comes out in November. It's basically the same thing, but it doesn't have like the effects and like looping soundboard thing with the sampling. So it just has the sliders, which is all I really need. But if you have like a 2PC setup, especially, I think it's like the coolest thing ever, because you can have all your audio set up on one system, and then it just ties in with the other one.
Right.
Which I'm running a 2PC system now, which is awesome. But the point is, like, that alone could make your quality of your stream like so much better, because you're not fucking around with all those weird like third-party audio interface programs that get all glitchy, or you're not like just running 100 USB cables back and forth between your computers and mics and stuff. So things like that kind of can make your stream better, I think, are worth investing in, versus like what a lot of people buy, or a lot of people have their donation goals that just says like 2080 Ti. Like, I'm not going to donate to you
Yep.
to like buy yourself a toy. I'm going to invest in the stream if I think it's going to grow and like make my viewing experience better.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and like so like my setup, I have two C20 cameras. I have a Yamaha MG10XU interface for audio, XLR interface. This is your Shure SM7B, which is kind of acting funky right now. It's picking up a lot of noise, which doesn't usually. It's a dynamic mic. So that's one thing that we'll get back to like audio. But I have a Stream Deck, keyboard, one PC, Xbox. I have a capture card, and I have two monitors that I use currently. There's a light rig here. So, I mean, it adds up, man. There's a lot of, like, if you want to be serious, like, I'm not the most serious by any means, but, like, there's thousands of dollars of equipment down here. And,
yeah.
Like you can get out of hand quickly.
You always want something else, too. That's the problem with
right.
it. You, like, now that I'm really, like, building this kind of rig up and getting into it more, like, every day I'm watching YouTube videos, and I'm like, damn, that's cool. I want that.
Yes.
And then the next day I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I want, and it's all like $400. Like,
right.
Everything you want.
Right. Like you said, that Go XLR is like $400, man. This mic, like when I bought this mic, it was, you know, I went to Guitar Center and they're like, oh, it's for whatever, and I'm like,
I smell bacon. Does anyone else smell bacon?
So. Yeah. Oh, good. Thanks for that follow. That we'll have to blur that out later. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, there's a ton of stuff you can buy that's just like, it's the hole is endless. It's seemingly like I could get a better, more expensive, better mic than this. I could get a way more expensive mic arm. Like, this something I didn't say. One of the best investments I ever made. This is a PS1A by Rode mic arm.
I think I'm gonna buy one. I'm using this cheap, like, is it Newer or Newer?
Newer, yeah. I just bought that. I just bought their
$50 Amazon one.
Yeah, I just bought their really cheap mic because I watched a YouTube video and it was a review, and I bought that for my YouTube videos. It's a condenser mic. But I use my cheap mic arm now for the second camera that's over here because once you lock it in, you can't move it. You know, it's like this one I can move like no problem, and it's like boom, right back. It's solid. So that's one of the best upgrades I made. Like one of the only things I haven't upgraded is this headset. It's the cheapest headset they had on Amazon. I got it. Somebody donated $25, and I bought an Amazon headset that day for my PC because I had never done anything PC gaming. And I still haven't upgraded it, but.
How is your second camera set up? Like, can you switch to that view?
Yeah. No, it'll just take you out of the picture, but yeah.
I just want to see.
So it, you know, I can like, it's just over the second monitor. It's just like hanging right, like this is the monitor
okay,
right
yeah,
here.
like a wide angle shot.
But yeah,
Well, that's cool.
you can see the whole thing. It feels like more personal. It feels like more personal when it's not me green screened out and you can't see shit that's down here. I could be in, my bathroom with a green screen up. Like you have no idea where I'm at.
Kind of people. That's why, like, when I used to do Twitch stuff, I used to use the green screen. My struggles with that. I was hanging sheets and stuff. And it was such an issue for me. But I switched to this kind of setup because I think, like, showing like your room and being able to have like kind of a dynamic scene is pretty cool sometimes. It feels, like you said, maybe a little bit more personal when you can kind of see somebody in their space instead of just a floating head.
Plus there's with especially with live streaming, it's like interaction. Like obviously I'm doing the complete opposite of that with this podcast episode, but interaction is king, right? And so like if somebody can see that scene and pick up something like this, like they love Rick and Morty, or they love, I used to play Pokemon Yellow nonstop. It's just like something that we can talk about, we can connect on, and that's another thing. Getting into this is just like making. You gotta have like relational value too. To want people to come back, and like that's what you want. Like you want fans, but you also want friends.
Yeah, and I mean, somebody told me, like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he said basically, like, you're not Shroud.
Yeah.
Like you're not the best at anything.
Yeah.
You're like, when it comes to video games, you're probably average. Most people on Twitch or YouTube. You're not like some god League of Legends player. You're like platinum ranked, but so people are there for you, not necessarily for the gameplay. So definitely it's about the relationships and being a person before being a gamer.
And that's what's been great is I've made friends all over the world that are from all different backgrounds, ages, sex, everything. It's been awesome. So like there's a weird balance of like people are always worried about, like, especially on Twitter. I think I'm about to go over 2,100 followers on Twitter.
Hey, there we go.
And people are so worried about saying the right thing. Like, you can't call them fans. You can't call them chat. You got to call them your community and your friends. Like, that's shit. Like, that's the goal, right? You want somebody to send you somebody drew a sketch of you and you can hang it up on this wall. Like, you want fans. You want an audience. Like,
yeah,
you can't be friends. Like, you can be friends with that many people, but it's just not feasible to foster that many relationships. It's eventually the scale's going to tip one way or the other. So I don't know. That's just how I see things.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that you want to be friendly for sure, but I mean, you're there. You're an entertainer. They're a fan of you.
Right. Right.
That's and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's fine. That's a good relationship. That's
yeah. And people can watch you and enjoy you and also not have to be your friend. That's the other part too. Like, somebody can watch you and be like, all right, T-Stream's over, click. And then they don't have to talk to you till Sunday or whenever you're on next, like
gone.
That's what's great about it. In a way, but like I said, the other side of that is I've made friends that are closer than friends I have here in where I live. So
100%.
It's a weird, and then you got the whole other thing where there's like the people that think they're your friend, but they're not. And like like the people that get those stalker stories, like, oh God, it's just, there's a weird like middle ground you're trying to find. It's weird. But like for you, I feel like, I don't know this because I haven't got too deep into YouTube, but how does that work with, like, do you have regular, like, obviously you have like a regular audience, but do you have like regular commenters and?
Yeah. I mean, you get the people that kind of watch all of your videos for sure. That, they're the first comment,
yeah.
For sure that they have your notification bell and everything like that. They get an email when you upload a video, and they're watching it day one, um, and commenting. But it's different than Twitch, obviously, because I see their comment and reply to it, but then it's kind of done. I'm not having a conversation with them. I'm not interacting in live space. I am starting to live stream on YouTube, like through their platform, so
Okay.
that might change a little bit. But like, yeah, traditional YouTube videos, it's not the same. I mean, I think there you definitely have fans and not friends. Like, there's much less interaction. So.
Right. Yeah. And so like with this, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm trying to learn my own podcast editing. Eventually I'd like to do like an actual podcast, cuz believe it or not, I started on Twitch listening to JRE because that's what I wanted to do, was to be a podcaster. And I just did this because it was easier, and then I found out it wasn't very easy. I mean, it was easy to turn on the thing and start playing a game and talking, but like the whole process isn't easy. I mean, there's still a lot to it. So,
yeah.
But now I'm about to be a couple months away from being 2 years in, and I still don't know everything, or the majority of things probably, but
No doubt.
I've had a lot of practice, especially like this. It's way easier, especially to hold a conversation about anything. Like where before, it was harder to find my way in a conversation, or just pick up on anything and talk with, like, engage with a person where they feel comfortable talking back to you, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Did you find it hard at first when you didn't have a lot of viewers, playing a game and like keeping some kind of like narrative going, because you don't have a lot of people? Maybe your chat's not very active because you don't have a lot of viewers, and you're just kind of sitting there playing a game. It's hard not to just be silent.
Yeah, so when I started streaming, I was playing with friends exclusively. I was so there was always like some kind of conversation going on, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I wasn't trying to hold like some kind of conversation, or like, now it's almost more annoying to stream with friends than it is without, because like when you're by yourself. So like a prime example is I just started playing Dead by Daylight for the first time. I was playing with friends that I enjoy their company very much. And we were playing and they were teaching me and it was all good. But as soon as there was nobody there, I was by myself. The chat started talking like, hey, do this, go here. You can do this perk. This is better than that. And, it just, it makes it much easier to have that conversation with the viewer when there's not somebody else talking. So to get back to your question, I guess, I didn't know what I was doing. So I had no plans of making that conversation, or trying to hold a conversation. I would just be like, oh, Babalu to you, hey. And then that would be it. Like that would be the end of me trying to like converse with that person, where now I'd be like, hey man, how have you been? How are things? How's your family? You pick something. Slightly Salty says this a lot. He's also trying to get into stream coaching. Pick one thing about a person. I meet Chase. Chase is Race with Chase. He's got a racing rig at his computer. And then so when you come back to my chat, I'm like, hey Chase, how's the racing thing going? And boom, they're like, hey, he remembers me. Yeah. And it's like easy to build off that conversation when somebody's talking about themselves. People love to talk about themselves. So that's the easiest way to get somebody to engage in conversation, in my opinion.
That's cool, man. See, like, I guess my point was, like streaming with friends and stuff, that makes a lot of sense because you have somebody to talk to. Like, you have something taking up the dead air,
right?
Where you're not just sitting there playing Fortnite to yourself and like, talking every 3 minutes when you see somebody and commenting about, oh, that was bullshit that he killed me.
Especially with that is like, it's harder to commentate like your game with like a game like that. So like you either have to, if you don't have a viewer and you don't, like, you could pick a chat topic like, hey, did you guys see Dancing with the Stars the other day or whatever. Like, you could pick that chat, but if there's nobody there to talk back, then you're back to
100%.
oh, I need to farm more wood, and then that's the end of what you have to say. And then you're like,
Yep.
oh, there's a guy at 180. Oh, he ran away. And then you wait. You know, it's like when I was getting big into streaming, I did have like a list of things that I would write down a list of things that I thought were engaging, and I would like every few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, I'd bring one up, and then hopefully there was somebody in the chat to make that conversation with.
That's smart.
Which is, it's yeah, I mean, it's stuff you just have to learn. Like, it's hard to figure that out at the beginning, because you're just like, another thing when I was just starting, it was like, I'll just stream as much as I can, and that doesn't really do anything for you either, because you never get better at it. You're just playing games with all that dead air, like you said.
Yeah, that was actually another point I was gonna make. I don't want to say that like stream coaching, because I'm not anybody to listen to when it comes to that, but like tips on how you could be better. How much time do you think that you spend like for your Twitch that you're not streaming, like either making new scenes in OBS or improving something in your setup or doing social media? Like, how much, if you had to give it a percentage of your time, is streaming versus doing other stuff to grow your audience?
Like, right before I took that big break, like 6 months ago, it was like half.
Yeah.
It was probably realistically like half. Like, I was learning how to do Photoshop. I was learning how to do like video editing and make scenes like this thing that I made for this. Like, figure out how to run audio. Like, there was one the other day that Salty was talking about. Somebody didn't know anything about audio filters. Like, they had no idea about like audio filters on their microphone at all. And like, you can start with you can make a pretty cheap mic sound pretty good if you put enough, work into it. So like, that's stuff you have to learn. And then, like you said, you got to learn social media. You got to do so many things. You got 100 jobs to do. You got to run social media. You got to figure out your taxes for streaming. If you're getting paid, there's just so much, man. It's so the people that are like, oh, I stream 5 days a week, I know they're probably not great, because they're probably not, they don't have enough time. If they have a regular job and stream, and they're streaming 5 days a week, I know they don't have time to work on their other shit, because I used to, I have kids, a job, and then would come do this three or 4 days a week and somehow fit in the other stuff.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point I was going to get into. Those guys that are all like, I stream 5 days a week, 7 days a week, and I'm not getting any growth. I have 2 viewers, and one of them is from my iPhone, and well, it's like, stream 3 days a week instead of 7 days a week, and upload 2 YouTube videos and get a couple hundred views there, because you can do that, pretty easy. If you learn kind of the SEO on YouTube and stuff, and then convert those people over to your Twitch. Like, they're not all gonna come, obviously,
or vice versa, right?
Yeah, it's like, or instead of spending 7 days, 8 hours a day playing video games at your computer, start taking some pictures on Instagram of your setup or something, like something that people can engage with, other than, because Twitch is hard to get discovered on. If you scroll down a page, pick any game that you want and scroll down the list, there's 100 people sitting at 1 viewer and 1,000 people above you. Like, people aren't going to find you on Twitch. You have to be somewhere else and bring them to you.
And to play into that point, people like to use, you gotta network. Well, guess what? Everybody that's networking's doing the same shit, where they're just going into a channel and they're like, hey, it's me, RaceWithChase. Hey, love your stuff. Be back later. And then they're never seen again. And they're just hoping that they remember your name better than you remember their name. And then they come back to your channel. And some people that works. Some people have an attractive personality. So they can network, and those people just naturally want to come back to them. But everybody doesn't. So when you network and try to get a bunch of, like, make a bunch of, like, a wide net of friends, it works to a point, but if your stuff isn't great to begin with, which, let's be honest, most smaller streamer stuff is not great. Like, mine's not even that great. I just like to do it as a hobby, and I like to do this, and I like to talk. But you're hoping that when you get that person, when you make that networking connection, that person's going to be attracted back to you and stick around, and that just doesn't happen a lot of the time. So, like you said, getting your stuff out on more platforms is arguably better than trying to spend a lot of your time watching other people hoping they come back to you, because that's what networking is really.
I think so. I think that growing your brand on any other platform than the one that you're trying to be successful on is how you're going to grow the fastest. Think about, like, if you were on Twitter, and it's not even about your followers necessarily on those platforms. It's about your engagement on your tweets and stuff. And then they, they click on your bio and it has your Twitch link or your YouTube link or whatever it is. Like, it's probably 1% of people, but if you can put up 2 tweets every day, 1 tweet every day that gets, some engagement, eventually that ramps up. And the thing about growth on social media is it's exponential. Like, once you start growing, it just snowballs and all of a sudden you're big. Like, I guess my point is like, just streaming and just watching streams or just watching YouTube videos and commenting on people's stuff. I did YouTube for a decent amount of time with the automotive stuff, and people commented on my stuff all the time about, this is great, come check out, I'm doing a similar build. And I'm like, okay, great. So I check out their channel one time and it's terrible. And then I'm never going back. Like, the first impression matters. Whereas on Twitter, like, there's how many people on Twitter? 300 million, something like that.
Yeah.
If you, it might be more than that. I don't know. You can put up a tweet every day and different people are going to see it. Like, there's always opportunity for people to see it. And you're going to convert a lot more of those people than you are, like how you said, jumping into a Twitch chat and going, "Hi, I'm Chase and I play video games and come check out my channel." No one's clicking on you. Literally 0 people.
Right. And then you arguably get more like flack when you're because
you don't want to be that guy.
That's like anything. It's like a fine line of like, I'm trying to network and meet you and like get you to come back to my channel. But like, where's the line? What are you like, hey, I'm Chase, I'll talk to you later, and then what do you come back again and do the same thing? Like, people sniff that out immediately.
You're Mr. Steal My Girl. Like,
yeah,
that's who you are. Like, no, that's not a cool guy to be.
Yeah, but it's hard. Like, if there was a right way to grow on anything, it'd be written out, and somebody would have a book about it. So.
And that person would be a bazillionaire.
Yeah, it's hard to do. I mean, you got to follow the social media algorithms are different on every site. You got to figure out your audience, your brand, like you said. There's just a ton of things that play into it, and then throw that in with every person is different. So like, what works for Chase isn't going to work for T. It's a hard thing to figure out.
Yep.
And then you throw in that people suck. Like, it's just some people suck.
Some people suck. Like, a decent amount of people suck. Really, that's the part. Especially on the internet. People suck on the internet.
You can't punch somebody in the face on the internet, so they're more likely to be an asshole.
You're a faceless, bodiless, like, but loud voice. Like, you have the loudest voice.
Oh. Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, a lot of times the people that bitch the loudest grow the fastest, and which is crazy.
Sometimes because people love people that hate shit. So like,
when I was starting out on Twitch, I saw a Reddit post. It was about a guy that started 2 different channels. He was probably my age, like late 20s, and he started a channel playing a shooter game, and he started one channel as just like himself. He was just like, hey guys, what's up? I'm Bill. I'm going to be streaming. And he plays game. The other one, he raged like a child. And
that's awesome.
That one grew, like, he did it for a month. The one where he was just himself, he had like 100 followers and like a couple subs. The other one, He said he grew like thousands of followers in a month being a baby,
awesome.
a grown baby. And, so it's just like, you never know.
I totally believe it.
It's weird.
Do you post clips to like Twitter or Instagram, anything like that?
Those seem to be pretty successful, and that's something that I don't do a lot of.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact is like, I have kids, so I put my kids to bed at like 7:30 generally, and then, I stream for a couple hours. It's already 9:30 here. By the time I'm done with the stream tonight, it's probably gonna be 10:30 or 11, and it's like I don't want to go back through the VOD and get clips. And if nobody I'm not blaming the chat at all. If you don't clip anything, I don't really care. That I can go back and do it myself. That's why there's VODs. But by that time, I'm like, I don't want to go back and watch it. And then the next day, and then I'm like, I forget. And that's something I want to improve upon for sure, especially now that I'm going to be posting these onto YouTube. And that's really what I want to do. Like the live stream we did where it was like off-brand versus name brand. I really want to make like YouTube videos and do podcasts more than I want to stream on Twitch. But
well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a really good opportunity for growth. If you can take a 15-second clip that was funny or something and put that on different places and then it gets shared around a little bit, that's the sauce, man. Like,
my buddy slightly salty there, he posted a clip about a sandal. He was asking, what do you call this? It was a slide, like a Nike slide. He was like, is this what do you call this? And that got like over 1,000 views on Twitter. And he's like, I post something informational about like stream coaching and it gets like 3 likes and 8 views.
Yeah, because people would rather call another guy an idiot for saying it's a sandal when he's like, it's clearly a fucking flip-flop, you moron. And then, then there's 10 people that are like, it's a slide. It's not either one.
That's true.
So people would rather argue about that instead of being like, wow, that's really good stream advice. That's going to help me grow. That's actually useful information that could be beneficial to my life. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah. Like, oh, okay. All right, bye. Thanks.
That sucks. It sucks that that's the world, but like, that's the stuff that gets, people want to argue. And
it gets the people going.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's for sure, man. It's, like you said, the internet's, it's a weird place.
It's a weird spot. But that's why it's so cool too. Like, imagine you like 10. You're a little bit older than I am. Like, you remember growing up? I talk to my brother about this all the time. Like, do you remember when if you wanted to go somewhere, you couldn't figure out where it was on your phone?
Yes.
You had to call a store and ask them where they were. Like, what are the crossroads?
When I
first need a map.
When I first started going to the rec to play basketball when I was a kid, I had to bring change to use the payphone. Like, I'm only 29, but there was still a payphone in front of the gym, and I had to call my parents from the payphone to be like, hey, can you come pick me up?
Yeah.
I was in that weird time where technology wasn't here yet, but it was like starting to ramp up. Like when I was graduating high school, MySpace was at its peak. It sold for like 530 million in 2008.
Or like, I remember frequently like going to a video store to rent a video.
Yeah. Yeah. Where there was like multiple chains. It wasn't like one.
Yeah. And it was you were playing a single player game. Like, you were playing Spyro for yourself. It was about you. Like, it was not multiplayer. There was nothing like that. And then imagine 15 years down the line, people are making millions of dollars playing video games on the internet. If you told somebody that 15 or 20 years ago, they would have laughed in your face. They would have called you a moron. Like,
the people getting GameFly, getting discs sent to their house.
Netflix used to deliver you DVDs. Can you imagine telling an 8-year-old kid that? Like, listen to this shit. So you would call this company and tell them what movie you wanted, and then they would send you a CD, and you're like, oh wait, it's a disc. It's like metallic colored, and you put it in all right. So you get past all of that, explaining what a DVD even is, or the mail, and then and that's what Netflix was. They wouldn't believe it.
Oh my god. Speaking of that, I've never been to the post office, guys. Can you believe that? 29, I've never used the post
I do all
office.
like the decal stuff and stuff. I use the post office more than I care to.
But yeah, no, dude, that's real. Like my kids, like if they go watch, well, my dad just canceled his cable, but when he had cable, they'd be so confused when the commercial would come on. They're like, "What is this?" Like it's a commercial.
Right.
Now
I didn't think about that.
yeah, now they've discovered YouTube, so the ads are similar. It's a shorter show, still has shorter commercials. But yeah, you know, like the big. But then it was like shit for me because it'd be like, "Can we get that?" Like, no, we're not buying no toys. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, and now like this is happening. Like you make money off of this. Like,
and it's here for
that's wild, right?
You know
That's crazy.
you know what's even more wild than that? It's there forever. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's on the internet forever.
Yeah, it's insane. It's
Where
crazy
before
thing.
you could do like some dumb shit and nobody could record it on their phone or anything, and you just get away with it and be gone and be like, remember when Chase tripped and fell on his face and knocked out his front teeth? Be like, nope, that never happened.
like the best, like the peak was that somebody had a camcorder that was recording in 240p, and they sent it into America's Funniest Home Videos, and you were on TV for 6 seconds. Like that was the peak. That was the best thing that could have happened to you. Now you get 1 million views.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, crazy. Like the world changed so fast.
Awesome. That's why it's the coolest thing ever made and the worst, because like it gives everybody a voice, which is amazing. Problem is people suck, that we already established.
Yeah.
But like also there's so many cool opportunities like that. Like so many people make a living on the internet, not just on Twitch and YouTube. Like think about like working from home. Like that was never a thing. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, unless you were using your landline phone.
Yeah, you're using your but even then, like what, you had a switchboard, you were like a customer service person, you had to like literally manually, like with those RJ cables or whatever it was, like switch to calls. Like how did you had to dial up? I don't know. I don't know how it all works. It's above me, but like that's insane to me. And now tons of people work online, or don't have an office job that's set up in their basement, and they're working for some huge corporation, or there's some guy making videos of him doing literally anything on YouTube you can find, and there's somebody making money off of it. It's crazy.
Yeah, insane, really. Like there's so many, like you said, opportunities, and the amount of information overload that there is, that you can learn anything that quick. You can go find it if you want it.
I don't mean to cut you off. I just built a PC recently, and my grandma lives with us, and she kept on saying like, I don't know how you do that. Like it's so crazy that you know how to put together a computer from scratch. You can build a computer, because like a computer in general is like a foreign thought to her. Like
Right.
it doesn't even make sense how it works at all. And that you, like a normal person, could make that work, like put it together and make it work, is insane. But it's like, yeah, I watched one YouTube video. It was a half hour. And now you have the knowledge. You could stop and pause and follow along with it. It's like you can learn how to do anything.
Yes. They were talking about that on JRE. It was like, and I took it even a step further thinking about it. Like, imagine like hunter-gatherer days. Mm-hmm. Like, you had to like learn everything. Like, you had to learn how to make like arrowheads and arrows and a bow. Yeah. And if you didn't learn how to make it, like, could you imagine right now? Like, I got to make this mic. If I want to use it. Like, no, you don't have to do that anymore. Like, you just go buy the shit, or like look it up and pay somebody. They'll do it for you.
You pull out your smartphone and go to the Amazon app, and they send it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, like you don't have to but you would have to make anything, or like for her generation, like either you had to know somebody that knew how to do it, you had to get it, like go some specialty place, or if they had a book in the library, you'd go rent the book and read through the whole book to figure it out.
Yeah, like I think the best example is cars. It's kind of what I always go back to. Like, not long ago, if the brakes went out on your car and you don't know how to change the brakes, you took it to a mechanic and he charged you $400 to do it. And now you go watch a YouTube video. You could type in the exact year and model of your car, and there'll be a video showing you how to do it step by step. And you just go to the auto part, buy some brake pads, and you're good. That's it. Like,
Like, you need these 8 tools and don't do this or you fuck it up.
yeah. Like, that's so cool, man.
You have all the information you need, and you know all the bad parts to avoid. Yeah, it's wild. That's what Dunk in the chat just said. I'm sitting here listening to this podcast and going to school. It's crazy how computers have changed things, but just technology in general. Everything.
You can get a master's degree from your home. Like, you never have to go anywhere, and you can be a master at something.
It's
certified from a university. like what? Like,
crazy. It's crazy. The like you said, the amount of opportunity for anybody and everybody without you make your own way if you want. It's like anything. It's still I guess I can't think of the word right now, but as long as you want to put the work in for it, you can make it happen. It's just there's just a bigger learning curve.
I think it's harder than a lot of things. Somebody made the comparison. It was Alpha Gaming on YouTube, and he actually streams on Twitch as well. His name's Harris Heller.
Yep.
Pretty big channel. If you want to know anything about streaming and stream setups, Alpha Gaming is the YouTube channel for it. It's awesome. But he said something where he's like, and you're about to be streaming for almost 2 years now, and you're starting to get some traction and stuff, and that's cool. But he was like, imagine if somebody that went to college for 4 years, like, if they didn't have to do that and were equally as successful, obviously they wouldn't. And the point was about, like, you don't get success on YouTube and Twitch and Instagram or anything like this overnight. Like, it takes literally years to build anything before you start getting a real audience or getting successful. And it's the same thing as if you went to college for 4 years. Maybe you have to stream for 2 or 3 or 4 years before anything really starts to happen.
Yeah, like, imagine if you put that
not automatic,
Imagine if you put that amount of time in anything. If I put my 45-hour a week work week into streaming, I'm sure I could be successful as long as I was being smart about it, making the right decisions, learning constantly, like putting effort in, putting a full effort in, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, if I just do it, it'll happen. But you also have to put mad time into your craft. It's like anything. You don't become a great trade skill just because you do it. Like, you have to practice. Brent is a welder. He started welding on his lunch breaks at the machine shop, and then he became good at it and
that's awesome.
Got a welding job, and then now he's a great welder, can weld anything. Like, you got to be able to put the effort into what you're doing, period, at anything, no matter what it is.
Can you imagine if you didn't? Like, if there was just some guy that just gets hired in at the automotive plant, and they're just like, all right, man, you're the cylinder head guy.
Good luck.
And he doesn't know anything about it. And he's slapping them together. He's just like, boom, fucking perfect, and sends it off, and then the car explodes.
Oh, God. Yeah. That's what people expect, especially like we're talking about streaming and YouTube. Back to the main part. That's a lot of people expect that. They're like, if I just do it, it's gonna get better. Yeah. Like, how? How is it gonna get better?
To relate back to everybody, T and I kind of know what we're talking about here, but if we were off on a tangent, but the point is like, this is a skill, and you don't obtain skills overnight. You learn them, and they're progressive, and as you get better, you become more successful at it. So people that expect they've been playing Apex Legends on Twitch for a month, and they're like, why do I not have 10,000 viewers? And why does Dr. Disrespect he's buying Lamborghinis? Yeah, because he literally made video games before he did this. Like, he understands how technology works. And then he came up, he plays to his audience. He came up with this cool character, and his whole thing is like how much fun he is to watch. He's good at games, but that's only because now he plays for 80 hours a week. Like,
All right.
it's a craft.
Yeah.
So to get back to other stuff, is there anything that you want to add to your stream that you think would make it better? Do you have any ideas right now?
My streams? No, like I've been doing like just silly stuff, like this big giant heart. Like that's one of my emotes. So like I made this heart as like a prop.
That's cool.
Like it's just stuff that's different, you know? Like when you stand out, when you stand out, that's big. Just or stuff that's relatable, you know, like relate back to that emote, or like I said, the scene with all this stuff that, you know, somebody's gonna stick to.
I got the gears going right now, man, because I'm in like stream building mode for sure. And I don't know if you've talked to Weston at all. I had a surgery like 3 weeks ago, and I'm still kind of recovering from it. So I haven't been at work. So I have all this free time, and for a while I was just like laying in bed, like I couldn't get up and move and stuff. So I was just watching YouTube videos and Twitch streams and all this kind of stuff, and learning more about streaming and making videos and how all this stuff works, and audio setups and camera setups, and going nuts with it. And then I started getting all these ideas because people were talking about different things to kind of improve your stream. That's why I have these lights going, and they're on, a fade mode, and they all change. So my background is always changing and stuff. And I thought that was a cool idea. But like, I have a few ideas that I think are really cool. And if anybody in the chat is a streamer, and Travis as well, if you want to take any of these ideas, they're not copyrighted at RaceWithChase. They're not like, but they are a little bit expensive. So like, you have a 3D printer.
I do.
I've been looking at 3D printers. I think it would be really cool if you set up like your 3D printer in a corner wherever in your house, and green screen behind it, and then you just had that running in like a small corner of your screen on Twitch, right? And it's just printing something, whatever it is, a little figurine that takes 3 or 4 hours, the length of your stream. And then every night that you're streaming, you give that figurine away.
That's pretty cool.
To somebody in chat, and they can watch it being built during the stream, and then you give it away to one person, or like maybe, I don't know, somebody that donated, or anybody that gave bits or donations is eligible to win it, or whatever. Any new followers.
That's cool. That's super unique and super cool. Like that's a really cool idea. I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Because plastic's cheap. The only problem with it is like my 3D printer's loud as fuck, so I'd have to put it in like the other room. But
yeah, have like
it's cool. Yeah, that's a cool idea. But yeah, that's like. But back to what we were saying is like you got to be unique somehow.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be like, I don't know.
That is neat, man.
That be
a lot of people have like pet cams. I don't know if you've ever watched a stream with that, where they like just have a camera on their dog bed.
Yeah, a cat curled up, and I'm
like, oh, sick.
So I used to watch this. I forgot their name. It was this. I don't know. She was like this hot girl streamer, but that's not why I was watching. She played Overwatch, and it was when I was really into Overwatch, and she was actually good. And she always had this cat curled up, and it was green. Where she was laying was green screen, but I didn't realize that. I thought it was just like part of her overlay, because it was like kind of in the corner of her webcam. And it never moved. The cat was always just like curled up sleeping. And then one day the cat moved, and I lost my
You were like,
mind.
what?
I mean, it's a real cat. Oh my god. I couldn't handle it, because I watched for like a week at this point, and it was always just curled up sleeping in the same exact position. I thought it was just like an overlay.
God.
That was really cool. I was like, oh, that's neat. When the cat lays, she just put a green sheet and like cry. It was cool.
Yeah, man. It's just like making yourself stand out some way or another, or like a reason for somebody to come back. is
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah, so the 3D printer thing I thought was cool, and then like this camera that I'm recording on right now is actually a DSLR that's running into a capture card. So I have basically a high grade camera as my webcam. But then I found out about motorized camera sliders. So it'll, it's like a 3-foot track or whatever. And it'll just slide back and forth automatically, looping. And so your camera is always changing. Like it's always giving you a little bit different angle. And then you could have like your walls decorated differently. Like I'm in a corner, right? And you could set up this camera so it kind of pans from one wall to the other and keeping me in the center of the frame. And then I could have those decorated differently. So you like it's just kind of a more dynamic scene. And like, how many have you ever seen anybody on Twitch with a moving webcam?
No, I didn't even know that was a thing. Sounds awesome.
Right. That'd be cool. Like it's just something different that people haven't seen before. I don't know. I had one other idea. I don't know if I have it written down that I thought like this stuff isn't cheap. Like a 3D printer is like a couple $100.
Yeah.
If you want to do this, if you don't already have a DSLR that'll work, plus like the sliders are like a couple $100 for like a good one.
Yeah, but like you said, like you can get out of hand and spend money on dumb shit anyway, man. It's like, don't buy McDonald's this month. You'll probably save that much money. Like people in today's world like eat out a lot and buy a lot of like stupid shit they don't need.
You can definitely be a little bit lucrative. Or like if you were a little bit, that's a good point, right? If you didn't eat fast food this month, so I got the new Apple Card. I don't know if you've looked into it at all. It's really cool.
It sounds cool, but I didn't.
It is really cool, and it's like an actual titanium card, which is cool because it makes you feel like you have
a baller, boss ass. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I got my $1,000 credit limit or whatever. Like my 600 credits. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That's not the point here. So it integrates with if you have an iPhone with like your Apple Wallet and all that stuff. But the problem with it, which is probably helpful for a lot of people, but I suck with money. It shows you your purchases on like what you spent it on.
Oh, I'd hate that.
Oh, dude, especially when you see how much you spent on food and drink.
Oh God.
Going to 7-Eleven and Taco Bell. I don't eat Taco Bell, but like whatever it is. And it showed it for a month. And I was like, I could have so much cool stuff,
right?
If I didn't eat McChickens and drink Monster all the time.
That's what it is, man. It's like a lot of people don't have like a strict budget or like watch shit like that.
It actually is helping me because now it's like I want all these cool things that I've been listing for my stream and stuff. And I'm like, if I didn't do that, that's X amount of money every day or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's wild. Quick intermission here. Dean, thank you for the raid. I appreciate that. Actually, we're talking welcome to everybody. This is episode 7 of the Beard Breakdown. We're live at Race with Chase. But yeah, that's what Crystal said. I was just about to get on Amazon and spend money on dumb shit because I'm bored. Like, it's easy. Yeah. It's easy to just spend money.
That's what I do all day long, Crystal. Like, that's my life.
Yeah, and it's like, really
I have
easy.
I have UPS or Amazon trucks coming into my house, literally no less than like 4 or 5 days a week. And it's normally something small, but like it's always something. It's always something. A cable that I needed for my camera. It's always something. Like
yeah, and it goes back to the internet. Before there was the internet, you're like, oh, I'm gonna drive to Sears to get this cable. I wasn't
gonna go to Best Buy and do it. And you know what the other shit about it is? So I had to get this webcam set up because I had to get her video recorded today. So I went to Best Buy to buy this cable, and I knew that Best Buy price matched to Amazon. So I found this mini HDMI to HDMI cable. And Best Buy was charging $29.99 for a 6-foot, basically HDMI cable. So I typed in Insignia, whatever it was, cable on Amazon. It was $4.99.
Jeez, brother. Good Lord. Yeah.
for the same exact cable. Like, guess what? Best Buy got my money, but I'm returning it tomorrow. like,
It's crazy. But like, yeah, like we're saying, it's so easy to just like
do we have a second to acknowledge the chat here?
Yeah.
'Cause,
yeah.
Dean is talking about, yeah, GPU, camera, battery, HDMI. Yeah, that's what I bought. HDMI mini. Mini or micro? I bought the wrong one originally. I think I bought micro originally. So I think it's mini. It's insane how much money you can. I just built I built a whole computer, right? It was not cheap. Like,
Right.
it's pretty decent specs. You can spend so much money in a hurry, and yeah, all of it in the last 2 weeks. Exactly. Like, there goes your paycheck, buddy.
Yeah, it gets out of hand quick, and then, like the amount of upgrades and stuff you can do is pretty crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like this stuff. Fuck. Stream Deck 150, mic arm 100,
Yep.
mic 400, camera 50. The monitor was like 250. What
You
else
have
is
a nice
on this
seat.
desk?
How much was the chair?
Chair was $299 or
Yeah, it
$299, I think. This
You bet.
This interface was $199.
Yep.
The
Like, I
cloud
got-
lifter 120. This is crazy.
Here, I bought this Oculus Rift
Oh shit.
S. Yeah, Rift S. That's $400. See ya. My mic was like $150 when I bought it. It's a cheap mic stand, but like all this like sim stuff, the pedals, the wheelbase, like it ain't free, dog.
No, it's crazy, man.
But like it's worth it.
Yeah,
I think.
especially if
To
you.
me, it's worth it.
Yeah, you
My
want to have it like
parents-
comfortable.
My parents think I'm an idiot. You know, I had all these boxes coming, and I'm unpacking stuff in my kitchen one day, and my dad walked in, and I just have steering wheels and pedals and fucking virtual reality headsets and computer parts everywhere because I was buying all this stuff at the same time, and he's just like, "Well, what's this?" And I explained it to him, and he's just like, and like how much money I spent on it was the next question I told him. And he's just like, "What are you doing with your life?"
You got a real car.
Like what? Yeah, like what? Like he's like, "Your brother has a good job." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." He does. What does he spend his money on? Like, I don't know. This is what I do for fun.
Oh gosh.
I don't know.
All right. Well, this is like a good place to let's end it. I think we've went way off into we're like an hour deep. We were planning on like 30 minutes, but this was great, man.
We went in there.
We
we
were-
got it done today.
we went in there, but yeah, man, I'd love to do this again. Like I said, hopefully I'm gonna be doing 1 or 2 a week is the hope. But so maybe in a couple months we'll get back together and see how far you've gotten. Tell the people about yourself, where they can find you.
Yeah. All right. So if you haven't watched the whole thing, my name's Chase. You can find me at RaceWithChase, like it is right above my head here, on YouTube, on Twitter, and on Instagram. You can click my link on here. I'll type something in the chat, but that doesn't really do anything. I don't really do much on Twitch, to be honest. But follow me on any of the socials. If you're into sim racing or virtual reality stuff, definitely check out the YouTube channel. And just like some general streaming stuff as well. Kind of like what we were talking about here. I have all these ideas, like I mentioned. So I'm gonna be doing a little bit with that on the YouTube. So if you're into streaming, if you're into video games, come hang out. I'd love to have you.
Awesome, man. Well, it was a pleasure. Everybody that's watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, give Chase a follow, and I will link everything down in the description below for you guys to find his channels and social medias. And I will see you guys next week. Peace!